Hello and welcome to week 2 in the garden. I'm super excited to show you what is growing today. Well, these are the last of the starts. I need to find a home for lobelia, cerinthe. I have some squash and zucchini. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. These phlox have grown up pretty nicely. They're ready to get moved. All of this alyssum and this sapperina stuff. So that is what is left. It's all going in the ground or in the compost this week. The tires got replanted with new flowers since the first ones died. Some of the first ones are still here, but a lot of them died. So they have new new flowers and a more committed gardener who's going to water them more. That's me. But they're much happier now. We have our first few little blossoms coming in. I hope that they will fill in and kind of, the goal is to get the flowers to kind of spill over the edge of the tires. So hopefully I put the right ones in and I put them in, in enough density. So the strawberries are starting to be less flowery and more strawberry-like. They're reaching in here and finding little buds that are going to turn into strawberries soon. That's really exciting. The plants over here are giant, just huge and crazy. I don't know how well you can see this, but these plants are huge, really, really tall. And once it gets back to the back, they get shorter, but it doesn't seem to matter if they're tall or short. They just produce a lot of flowers and berries. The flowers are less prominent now because they're starting to drop their leaves and get ready to turn into actual berries. So I'm guessing about 2 more weeks and then we'll start to see some actual berries happening. I'm going to show the bad along with the good. This strawberry patch that is just so covered in grass and weeds. This is a project that really needs to get taken care of really soon. Last year I went through here. We had a purple blight, I think it's called. Here's a good example. That's kind of what it looked like. And it doesn't really affect the strawberry production or anything, but it wasn't great. So I went through and mowed all of this down after we were done getting the strawberries, and it really helped. This year the plants look much better. I'm really excited about these flowers. They are coming in really nicely. They just came from Lowe's. They're the ones that are flowering right now are not ones that I grew. They were on the clearance rack, the clearance section of Lowe's, because they were dying. But as soon as I got them out of their pots and broke up their roots a little bit and planted them, they really came through. This is a viol plant that I started, and it's trying to get some flowers. They're just like little tiny flowers right now. Here is the first tiny blossom of alyssum. This is the Royal Carpet variety. Here are the carrots. I'm really hoping that this 3-row situation, I've got 3 rows here, will work out. I think it will. I hope it will. Check out our lettuce rows. You can definitely see the lettuce coming in now. The Swiss chard, not so much. It's in there. That one and that one. But they, I think I disturbed them a little bit when I was planting the flowers around them. I was very careful. Should have done the flowers and then the lettuce and Swiss chard. But they seem really happy to be here. Obviously, so are the weeds. The leeks are getting nice and thick. They are just little tiny strings when I first planted them, but they are killing it, doing really well. Look at that. The fennel is coming together, it's putting out some new stuff there in the middle. You know, perpetual weed problems, but it's doing really well. Looks happy to me. And over here, we did some cilantro. I think that's these guys. So we'll see how they do. And this Angela plant here hasn't really done much yet. Some more cosmos. Look at this, guys. Some cosmos flowers. Growing back here with the cabbage. Here's this extra lettuce that we planted in the back here. And it's smaller than the one in the front. It was planted a few days later, but doing pretty well. Here we have the peas coming up. They've gotten really tall. I'm really excited about that. Look at those guys. We have some new leaves on the beans, so they're coming in. And not a lot of leaf burn, so I'm happy with that. These squash have something going on with the leaves. Could be burn, I guess. I'm not sure exactly, but we'll just take them off. But they're doing well, growing really well. We have potato plants, so I can weed with confidence back here now. Doing really well. Look at this pretty cosmos flower growing right here with the Brussels sprouts and cabbage and broccoli. This one's a little knocked over. I'll have to work on that. Sometimes I get cutworms that come and eat my cabbage and broccoli and such. And so when they're knocked over, it's a little concerning. But we'll try to shore that one up and maybe it'll make a comeback. These plants here, the cosmos, are budding and they're just doing really, really well. The calendula grew a little more, and so I've transplanted a whole bunch of calendula out here with cabbage. They're supposed to be well paired, so we'll see what happens. So we transplanted this rhubarb a little while ago, and some of the stalks are just floppy and sad. Didn't do well, but the roots are amazing, producing new strong stalks. And you know, these might not be super strong plants this year, but next year they're gonna come in really, really full. Here is one. We got some pieces that just died, but also making new leaves. So overall, doing really well. And it's gonna be just so nice next year to be able to look out here in the spring and see, hey, something is growing out there. Like before you can plant anything, it'd be nice to see something growing. This is Ryan's row of peas over here. It's getting really big. And on the other side, since we only put pea seeds on one side of the fence, I put the nasturtiums all over the other side. I think that's gonna look really good when the flowers come in. Looks pretty good right now. Nasturtiums have those interesting leaves. This is Ryan's carrot row. He's gonna have to do some thinning and weeding. Yesterday I went ahead and planted the few little sunflower seeds that I had started, and just put them here in the end of this row, and they are really cheerful. It's fun to see them here. I think that the compost is really coming along really well. It's I just turned it and it's looking really dark. It's like full of bugs and spiders and worms and everything, so it's a really good sign. And I'm thinking about getting ready to start getting some of the larger chunks out of it, starting to use it, so I'm excited about that. Mint is getting so big. This peppermint is like branching out all over the place, and the chocolate mint and the spearmint. Awesome. And the thyme too is getting nice and big, filling up the pot really well. This is my flower bed. We got some yellow flags and irises, columbine, lots of columbine, more yellow flags, and a white lilac bush. It's made some flowers this year for the first time. They smell amazing. We got just lots of columbine popping up everywhere. Some purple columbine, red, pink. We got some fiddlehead ferns. This is the other flower bed, and we have this honeysuckle bush that's more like a tree now. And we've got Jacob's ladder plant. Such nice flowers. And these are some that I just planted, some alyssum. These are pinks, some of these. And we've got violas that are gonna flower still. This is, this over here is yarrow. It's not the local kind. It's a mix called Colorado, and it makes pink and orange. Some more violas. Some irises. And these are lilies over here. These are some painted daisies. They're so close to getting ready to bloom. So close, they'll be like bright, bright pink. Back here is a whole bunch of snapdragons, violas and lobelia, alyssum. Look at this nice iris here. So nice when these purple irises bloom. They're so pretty. And these lilies, I don't know what these are. I got them from somewhere and I don't remember what they are. This is a little bergamot plant, bee balm, that I planted a long time ago, and then it died and didn't come back for a full year, and then all of a sudden reappeared in the garden. You got these really tall columbine over here. This is a trollius, some roses, and here are some painted daisies that are even closer to blooming. They're really ready. These are some saporina, I think they're called, and Cerinth. I could be saying those names all wrong. Thanks for tuning in to the garden tour. See you next week.